the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey everybody, you're getting an extra dose of Rev Deuce today, and that's exciting, right? I want to talk about some of the recent updates to the Amalgam, where when it came out, gosh, feels like forever ago, well over a year ago, it was introduced to kind of revamp and revitalize raiding in the game. And honestly, on that portion, it still has done it. And I will say that as we get deeper and deeper into constant upgrading the economy, like we just had with Crucible of War, there's less of a need for some raiding for some players. Now, for me, I still enjoy raiding. I still have fun doing it. But in terms of resource acquisition, maybe it's not as great as it was when it first rolled out, but it still can be extremely helpful to you. But beyond that, it was still brought out as a way of sourcing things like ship skins that were very difficult to do, as well as some very important exocomps that I know a lot of people forget about. And I want to kind of cover some of that with updates that have rolled out over the past, 2 or 3 months that you really want to pay attention to, especially as some of you players are leveling through the 30s and approaching the 40s. The number one, or the most recent one I want to point out is actually in your Voyager refinery right behind me. And what you're going to notice as you're leveling up, the Voyager refinery is giving you the ability to kind of pour into some of these older loops, and maybe to where you don't have to invest in them personally as much. One of those, as you can see right behind me, is the Amalgam Commerce, where you're going to trade commerce insignias for Amalgam loot right here. The refinery tokens, parts for the ship itself, ship XP, which everybody gets tired of grinding, even though auto grinding is working now. Again, I give credit to Scopely on that one. Thank you for making the auto grinding work correctly. And then finally, the ship skin shard trackers, which are the apparently hardest currency to get in the game. You see, I just turned it in there, and that's going to allow me to, one, get a little bit more of an upgrade advantage, as well as go through and spend it to hopefully get some of those Honorguard Worf shards, which the only real good sourcing for Honorguard Worf is the Amalgam, even though that's kind of a pain point. And you come over here, you see we've got the Amalgam turn in. I've got 1,000 now that I got from that. So I'm going to turn in thanks to Voyager allowing me to do that, as well as my normal turn-ins. And of course, I get one Honorguard Worf shard because I think it's kind of like a requirement from Scopely to only let you get one Honorguard Worf shard. But that kind of is what it is. And that's the basics of the loop that's been added to it. Now, for those that don't remember, to actually get your Amalgam, you do actually do it through Cosmic Cleanup in the low 30s, where in 13 weeks, you can unlock the Amalgam yourself by going through the event store turn-ins. And that is, again, a long mess, and we are trying to find ways to make that better for the average players. But through Cosmic Cleanup, you can get an Amalgam. Now, once you do that, it goes away. And for those curious how to get a second or third Amalgam, well, you're going to have to go through the wonderful world of the Pay Store or a big event store that they have that rolls around 3 or 4 times a year. Usually every quarter, there's an event store. Now, this wasn't the only update to the Amalgam. In fact, if you go, remember, there is an Amalgam refinery, its own entire refinery. You can see you've got multiple options here, as well as down here, you see that I've got 2 options. I'm going to click this. I'm going to do the big chest pull of 6 million. This will give me more pulls for Honorguard Worf, hopefully, and more Amalgam parts. But what I wanted to do when I showed that is actually take a look at the research. There's a new research in the Ex-Borg faction tree. So the first update I talk about is with the Voyager tree. So you're looking at being a mid-30s player. Now you're looking at being a late 30s player. With the Ex-Borg research tree, there is another one that just came out called Chest Collective, which is actually increasing the number of redeemable Amalgam refinery chests. Why is this important? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do this now for y'all so y'all can see it. I'm gonna redeem it myself. I'm gonna blow through my speed ups just for y'all because I appreciate chat and everything that y'all do for me and my family. So thank you. I did it for you. So there you go. I just reset my chest. And what that does is as I back out and go back to my refinery, my Amalgam, you're going to see I have more options now, where now I can do a 5 chest pull that costs 10 million. Now, there are some pros and cons to this, and I think the cons are going to be kind of obvious, and the pros are going to be kind of obvious, so I'm going to point them out anyway. The pros of this is obviously I can get more. And when I mean more, as in now I got 3,700, 20,000, or 23,000 Amalgam parts, but it costs me a lot to do that. I'm going to go ahead and redeem this real quick as well. Make sure you're getting those Amalgam exocomps. So what that did is now I've gotten a lot more loot, and I can go back to this officer pool that we actually just did one of. And now we're going to go back and we've got several ready. I've actually got 5,900 currency. I've got enough to do this 5 pulls. And the tricky part of this has always been you just can't pull enough to really have any value. And now I managed to get 5 Honorguard Worf shards, as well as, more importantly, and what is, in my opinion, the most important part of the Amalgam loot at this stage in 2023 are these exocomps. So you've got the negative rep exocomps, which are fine, but more importantly, these positive ones. Look at this plus 100% one I have, which is the 5-star version, plus 100% to Klingon rep, plus 70% to rep. Here's my Romulans, and then a Federation one. These exocomps are some of the most valuable things in the game as you are trying to work on rep grinding. Now again, these are additions that have kind of been made easier through the 30s, where you can go out and grind the Amalgam, where I would grind it once every 2 months. Now I actually have to do it once every couple of weeks. If I want to do that 10 million pull, I can go out and probably get a solid 60 million lazily going through with my Amalgam at this point in a single run of that 1 hour exocomp that I get, which is that 9,900 plunder. But now I've also got my ship skin shard trackers, which is going to help hopefully speed up the process it takes for me to unlock ship skins, which here's why this matters for those who are watching who are in the 30s, because those skins still matter if you're in the 30s. And when I'm talking about they matter, let's actually go back to our original refinery with the Amalgam. Talking about these right here. Now, there's not a lot that matters for the later players except getting all of these. Remember, because these stack, these positron phasers, these projectiles, because these are simply researches that attach to your ship. I want to remind y'all, use this opportunity to remind you, you do not have to actually apply these for them to matter. You simply need to unlock them. So if you want to have the refractive beam, you don't actually have to use the refractive beam on your ship to be getting the bonus. It simply works as a research. But you do still have these refits, the Enterprise refit, the D4 and the Auger, which do have, still value if you were a player in the 30s. Do they matter as much as me at my level? No, but they do matter, as well as the Amalgam cloaking, which is another, kind of a bonus. You see with incursions now coming back in full force, you're going to want to find a way to kind of get around and into those PvP areas of the game. And that means raiding. And if you can raid with a cloak, you're getting that daily done, as well as being able to maybe get some big loot without dying. So ship skins, remember, these, you only have to unlock them. Once you've unlocked them, they work. So that Borg one, the Triskelion one, the refractive beam, all these, then they're just kind of cool little bonuses. Like I like the look of the cryonic blast, but you don't have to apply them to get the bonuses. And then you take a look at the actual cost of those. You see, you need 80 of the skins to get the Auger, to get the TOS Enterprise for the Enterprise A, the Hegtai. Well, the Auger ones up here, I don't know what the Tribune one. But anyway, these cost 80. So you have to go through that pull. And now you actually have a faster way to source this thanks to the additions to the Voyager refinery and thanks to the addition of the Ex-Borg research. If you're a player in the mid to upper 30s where the Amalgam is going to be a primary thing that you're focused on upgrading, it's got great warp range, you can use it as a deep space miner, and now you're seeing it kind of get fleshed out to be more than just a raid boat, even though that is a fantastic use of it, where I've used my Amalgam to bring in billions at a time thanks to its ability as a raider. But now beyond that, actually having a reason to go out and grind so that you can unlock a lot of these projectiles for free, get a lot of those bonuses for free. And I think that's nice. Free is always nice, right? Anything that you can get to add to it is always good. And that's kind of what you're getting with this bonus to your Amalgam. And I'm glad that they added this here because they need to just add it for everything. Because you see the ship cloaking refits do not need to be equipped. Acquiring ship's cloaking unlocks its ability, etc. But still, I think they should add in those little, CISOs or say-sos for these. Let people know that you don't have to equip these. Once you unlock them, the bonuses apply. So there's your update to the Amalgam. I think it's actually a really good update to the Amalgam. And you can see now I'm close to maxing mine thanks to easier part sourcing. Now I just got to get that combat scavenger maxed out. But if you didn't know about these, now you do. Between the Voyager update and the Ex-Borg update, a lot easier to now unlock Honorguard Worf, the big exocomps that are very important for your rep grinding with the 10 million, 1 billion, and 15 billion locks. And of course, even beyond that, just using it as it's originally intended. There we go. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Hope you enjoyed the update. If you have any questions, as always, drop them down in the comment section down below. Happy to help out any way that I can. Also, congratulations to servers 87, 88, 89, and 86, because y'all are getting ascension to levels 51 plus. If you didn't know, now you know. I'm here to announce it for you. So, catch you on the next one. Bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.